Well, thanks everyone. Thanks so much for coming and joining us today. We're going to be going through some of the fantastic things you can do with SnapComms in terms of branding and customizing your all the visuals around SnapComms. And there's three of us here today who will be doing most of the talking. There's myself, Paula Casson, and I have Shelly. I'm really delighted to have Shelly here. She's our guru when it comes to templates and graphic design. Hi, Shelly.
Oh, good morning.
Yes, and Ria's here as well. Ria, who's our customer success team, is going to be helping as well and fielding questions, answering them, and bringing them up during the talk too.
So. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, and Shelly and Ria are both out of our New Zealand office, so they're up really early, which for the rest of us, we're pretty much in the middle of our day in North America. But thanks, guys, for making the time. All right, so SnapComms, I think most of you are familiar with our company and what we do. It's a B2B enterprise software. We have customers pretty much all over the world, and a lot of large and medium organizations using our software to reach their employees with critical messages, cut through all the information overload. And I want to ask you a question too. Now today our topic is branding, so I'm going to put a poll question up right now for you to just let us know a little bit about what are you doing if you're a SnapComms customer. What are you doing right now for branding? If you're not a customer, just say not applicable. But we're interested to know how much custom branding you've done already, so we can make sure we talk to the appropriate, give you enough detail. So hopefully you can see that. And got a few answers coming through, a couple more seconds here. Okay, I'm going to close that poll and I'll share it with you too so you can see it. So yeah, we had a bit of a split there. So some are using SnapComms generic, some have already got branded templates, and for some it's just not applicable. Okay, good. Well, that's good. We'll make sure we cover all those bases then as we go through today. And right before we get into the content, I just want you to know we really want these to be working sessions. There's a question area in the GoToWebinar panel, and please use that. Anything that comes to mind, fire it through there. Ria's gonna, if she knows the answer, she may answer it back to you directly, and if she thinks, she may raise it as well for us to have a conversation about. So please ask for what you're interested in, and we really want this to be practical. All right. And Shelly, there we go. That's a little bit quieter. There was a little bit of background noise there for a minute. So here's our agenda. Why do custom branding? What can you customize in SnapComms? We're going to answer these questions to start off. And then we'll get into what you can do with message templates, application elements that can be branded, and how to make it happen. So there we go. 5 main points to go over. And let's just get right into it. So custom branding. Now, a lot of you are using SnapComms already, but there's 2 main reasons we see over and over as to why you really want to go and use the great graphic design, you know, the corporate templates, get corporate branding on there. The first is trust and credibility, and you may not have had this happen, but we've seen it sometimes where generics are used and people are a bit worried. They think it might be malware. They don't know if they should trust that message. So that's a huge reason why to make sure that everything you send has corporate branding at a minimum, so for the credibility, right? Especially since SnapComms visual messages are a bit unique, and some people aren't familiar with that kind of message send. And the second reason, of course, if you have fantastic branding and have some creative templates and information there, that's going to help. It's going to help with your cut through, which is what we're all after in the end. You want to reach as many people as possible with these messages, get behavior change, or get that knowledge transferred, whatever your goals are. And branding can certainly support that and help you do that. It can accelerate that process. So hopefully that all resonates with you. Now, in terms of SnapComms, what can you customize? there's two main areas, two main things that you can customize. First off, the visual messages. And I think if you're using SnapComms or found us, you know you can put a pop-up alert, a visual message on screen, whether it's a ticker scroll or a pop-up. And all of those, we can take your branding, template it up, and then you drop your message in, the body is in, and everything else is ready to go. You don't have to build it from scratch. So branding there, we're going to spend a lot of time going through all the fantastic things you can do. There's a lot of new things you may not be aware of. And the other side, which is less well known, is application elements, I'm calling them. So these are some of the pieces of the SnapComms solution, the software, where you see SnapComms branding at the moment. You'll see the orange S icon if you're receiving messages, your client icon. You've got the message history window, which I have a screenshot of here. And if you're using the mobile apps on an iPhone or an Android device, those as well, all of those can be branded. So we'll get into that a bit later with some more detail. So now let's get into all the beautiful stuff. And Shelly, I'm going to call on you a lot to help me out here and share some of the great tips you have for people. Let's look at message templates. First off, the basics, and then we'll get into all the possibilities in terms of custom designs. So the basics, templates, what are we talking about? I think most of you are going to be familiar with it. What I want to do, I'm just going to pull over my browser window. So I'm in the SnapComms administrator side here. When we create a message, when we're talking about templates, you choose your message type, and I'll choose alert here. And then you're asked to choose a template, right? So here you can see I have lots of different visual templates. Since I've been setting up this webinar, I've got a lot of fantastic examples in here. You may not see the same set of templates. You'll see your corporate templates or some of the generics that we deliver. But this is what we're talking about, the branding that's going to be skinned on the message that you've created, right? So that I think is pretty clear. And Shelly, why don't you talk just about the basic templates that we do for all customers?
What you're seeing in front of you here is the kind of templates that we put together for trialists. If a logo is sent in to us, we can take the logo, we can apply it to a set of simple templates like this. We'll go and have a look at your website, see which colours you use in your type, and pick out stuff that's going to work well. And we colour the scroll bar, the close button, and the borders around the templates. So you'll see pretty much similar to what you'll see here, but along the themes of your own branding style.
That's great. And also, this is really versatile, right? Because you sort of got a blank canvas. There's so much you can do in the body of your message too. You can add in images, add in tables, add in all sorts of things. So, this goes quite a long way in terms of just making sure you have that credibility. Yeah, and that, anyone, if you don't have that yet, definitely we can set that up for you really quickly. But everyone probably has the basics here that we're talking about, right? Good. And then let's talk about custom. So here's where we're going to spend a lot of time talking about what you could do, how far you can go with templates. And if you look here, I've just got a list of some of the elements that you might think about when you're creating your custom templates, right? So let's get into those a little bit more. First off, the corporate logos, the titles, the text and pieces that are going to be permanently on your messages. Here's some examples. If you look at the first one, HR News, so this one's used by HR only. We've got that really clearly indicated. They've got their corporate logo at the bottom. And the second one's quite interesting because this is an example of one where we're pulling in more elements. We've got some photos. Those are going to be links to different parts of the intranet or internal resources. And that one's got a very sophisticated header. And you'll see the one on the right too. This one it's an example. We have a lot of hospitals that use the software. They can use our software for code alerts, so they're going to keep it really simple. They'll have templates for one specific type of message. A code blue medical emergency message is the example here. So that's some examples of what you can do. And I've got 2 ticker examples as well, where you can see, usually with the ticker scroll bar, we're going to have the logo or the indicator on the far left and space for your main headline message coming through on the right. Now, it's worth saying, too, that some of the things you can specify are default fonts, default sizes, and default layout placement for the header and the body of your messages. And Shelley, you mentioned to me earlier about the headline. So if we're looking at where it says special screening or please read this message, you were saying to me that you can specify the color, the size, the font, but that's not something that's hardwired into your template. It's not something you change later on. Whereas the body you could change.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's really helpful when someone does send us some artwork for some custom templates to have the text mocked up in it, so we get a good overall look at the look and feel of how things are expected to present once they are eventually up on your screen.
Very good. That makes sense. Because the one on the right with all the little people, super cute, but you can see it's a much smaller space for the message, isn't it? So it just makes that really clear ahead of time so there's no surprises later. Great. And then frames. So I know I wish I'd got Andrew. Andrew sent me a screenshot of showing a SnapComms alert that was white and had no frame, and that's a bit tough because sometimes it blends in with the background. So in terms of frames, you can see there's lots of ways you can go. This one with the dots on the left, wow, no one's going to miss that message. I would say you probably don't want many images in the body. It could get quite busy if you had lots of stuff inside your message for that one. But let's have a look at the other one here. I love this one you did a while back, Shelley, with the birds on it. We actually have a little bit of a custom shape if you see where the bird's wings are. You know, we got a little design element there standing out, taking it beyond just a rectangle, which is quite cool. So right now we're just going through a few examples to show you some of the possibilities. Here's some ticker examples as well, where you can have some custom shape at the end of that ticker, and I'm going to pull one up on screen right now, a live ticker on my screen, okay, just to show you what this looks like. And it should come on top. Yep. Now it's going to be quite tiny on your screen, but what I've just done is triggered the Snap News ticker, the actual ticker itself, which is a message that's been published to me. And it's, by the way, it's quite smooth on my screen. It may be a little jerky on yours. Sometimes GoToWebinar will slow it down. But I wanted you to notice too on this ticker, do you see the far left, the little chevrons? There's 2 chevrons. They're actually blinking. So that's a nice touch as well. Not only do we have a little icon image there, but we've got additional movement here to draw the eye. I'm going to close that now. Great. And Ria, do we have any questions coming through so far?
Not as yet, Paula.
Okay. Oh, that little. Okay. I'm just looking at my text mistake on this screen. I'll just say it. Here's some examples too. When you look at your templates, you've got all your buttons. You've got your close buttons. You've got your read now, read later buttons. Anything, anything that's a link where someone's going to click on that, that can be customized as well. You can have, you can get quite fancy. Right now, these ones say read now, read later, now, later. But even, the text itself, if you have different terminology, you can certainly customize that too. And let's have a look now at a little bit where you can go a little bit further as well. And this is with pop-up notifications. So when we're talking about a pop-up notification, we mean that little intro notification for an alert, a survey, a quiz, a video, an RSVP type message. So a message where we're going to give them a little bit of information and say read now, read later. We're going to give them a chance to defer that message, right? So that's what we're looking at here. And once they click read now, they're going to see the main message. So this is a little teaser. I like your word. Jane used this word, a colleague of mine earlier. This is your little teaser on screen. This is hardwired. So this one, the size doesn't change. This is for the PC, not for mobiles, but this one, it is set, and you can get really creative with these if you want to. So I've got some examples, and Shelley, you want to talk a little bit about some of the things you've seen? What have you seen people do with these pop-ups to really draw the eye and make it interesting?
Well, the pop-ups, they're static in terms of their dimensions. Like the message window templates are designed to go onto a variety of different devices or to be maximised on screen. The pop-up, which will appear on your PC, doesn't have those, I suppose you could call them constraints. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a lot of freedom there in terms of shape, and it can be a wonderfully dynamic thing. Much like the stuff that you see here.
Yeah, so we've seen it where people have a conference that they're generating interest in, or maybe in some sort of an event or product launch, and you have all this fantastic branding on the intranet or on other resources. Well, you can extend that out to SnapComms too. You could do a custom template and create something special just for that event and use SnapComms. Okay, good. And now we get to the fun stuff. So here is something I wanted to talk about, which is relatively new. And I want to pull up an example here of a template. I'm going to pull a pop-up on my screen, okay? So have a look at this. And hopefully you can see the movement here. This one's a little quick, but we had the logo fly in. We have, and I'm going to hover over the close button. You can see this one does a little twirl. We have some fantastic examples here where we're actually using animation, sort of like mini GIF pieces in the messages themselves. So that has fantastic possibilities. And what I'll do too, I'm going to pull up another example that I have going as well. Now this one, you can see each little block of this template here pulls in, and we have some text sliding in from the side. And if I close this one, hopefully you're seeing the Lotus Morning News template. When I close this, you'll see it takes, each item sort of disappears. There's a little bit of a animation when it goes as well. So that's something to think about. If you have your templates, you can have some movement. There's one more too. I wanted to pull up. I sent one a little bit earlier that I wanted to show you, which is one of the latest ones that you guys have, that I know our design team have been playing with. So I have an alert on screen which looks quite plain, but see if you can tell what's going on here. We have a color animation in the background here. So all sorts of things you could do with your templates to make them dynamic and really make them pop and get the high response. Just make them more engaging. There we go. I'm going to
make them really memorable also.
It does. It does make them memorable. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So there's another possibility for you. And in terms, another point we wanted to make too, we're not talking about like one corporate template. So many companies have series of templates. This here is a screenshot of the code alerts from the hospitals, which I'd mentioned before. And they have those. They have corporate templates too. We also have companies that will do IT outage templates. They may have a red one when there's an outage and a green one that they send out when it's all clear. So using color and using their templates to give people visual cues. Other examples, we have some large Fortune 500 companies that where they let each division have different templates. So it's really clear which division, where this message is coming from, right? What part of the organization. It could be department, could be division. And on the right here, I just have the Snap Video, Snap News. So we see that a lot too, where if you're using survey quizzes, alerts for news, you may have some variations. You give people a visual cue, but we have that consistency in the branding. So that's there too. And okay, so scaling, let's talk a little bit about these templates. If we look at this one here, this is a simple one, the HR News one. We've got a scroll bar there. This may be the default size for the pop-up alert. But with these templates, we do the work in the back end to make sure that you can scale them. You can resize them. So here on the right-hand side, this is, I preview my message, and then I go in and I tweak the actual dimensions of this alert so that it fits my content. Want that scroll bar to go away. So that's built into to all of our messages. And to take that a step further, now we have more and more people using pop-up alerts, not just on computers that have variable resolutions on their screen, but they're using them on tablets and on mobile devices as well. And of course, that's called responsive design, and SnapComms is set up for that. So here's an example for you. This is that Lotus example I showed before, and we can have it large to show, this could be the default for your PC. And then if you're on a tablet, you can see where we dropped that light blue square and adjusted the text over. And then here, this is what I really like. So here, we're not going to take up that much real estate on a phone. Imagine if you had the big Lotus and the big headline. That would just take up way too much space on a mobile phone. So it resizes down. And Shelley, talk a little bit about that. I know you said when you get stuff from customers, it's good if they help specify what they want there.
Yes, it's really great if customers are able to send us what they want their templates to look at on those 3 different sizes, like what we expect the template to look like on a desktop, on a tablet, and on a mobile. And it's especially helpful if there is dummy text in there, so that there's a really clear indication of how much space is available for that.
Mm-hmm. Good. And this I have here too. So here are a couple of examples. Shelley, talk about what happens with some of the things you don't want to do if you're delivering content out to different device types.
Sure. With photographs as a background image, they don't really work because they get squeezed if they're put onto a mobile phone, and if the image also was to be maximized on a PC screen, then every one of those pixels would be stretched and the image would end up stretched, distorted and blurry. So we don't recommend using photographic images in the background. I would rather people just save them to put them into their content via the content manager later on. And also the message window, unlike the little pop-up with the read now, read later buttons, the message window needs to be able to be resized. So this needs to be taken into consideration when you're creating your design, because the background image, again, it's going to get squashed if we need to put it on a phone, and it's going to get stretched and distorted if it's put on maximized on screen. So I would recommend for the main message window to use a rectilinear shape. It's fine to have rounded corners, but to keep the overall shape of that quite simple. But for the teaser, for the pop-up that pops up in the corner before the message window loads, that's what you can go crazy on, because it doesn't need to resize.
Fantastic. And yes, I have one more example, which I know you'd sent through, saying, definitely you want guidance from people. How do you want this to look if the device is smaller? Yep. Can't have it where...
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
The example on the left is how a particular piece of artwork came through to us. We didn't receive any instructions as to how they wanted it to look on mobile. If the message window is taken exactly how it is and is resized, then the content area becomes very, very small, and then we're left with the question of, well, what's important? What do they want us to flow the text over the basketball image? Do you want the basketball image to become smaller? Or do you want the basketball image to be removed altogether for mobile? So it's really important to have that information up front. It really helps to streamline the process and increases turnaround time.
Good, good. Fantastic. All right, and then, so hopefully that's given you some good possibilities. And I'm just going to take my screen out of, I want to take this out of full screen mode here because I've been waiting for a pop-up message to come through and it's not actually cutting through. So I'm going to send an actual live message through right now again, just hopefully we can see the whole process with a custom template, what it will come through and how it will look. And while we're waiting for that to come through, and I've just published that on my other screen, let's talk a little bit about the other parts of SnapComms that you can customize. Excuse me. So if you look down, I'm going to just pull one, let's get one slide on. I can click on the right thing here. Maybe. There we go. Now my advance isn't quite so good, but okay. Now here's the S icon. This is the SnapComms client, right? That's on my screen, or that's in my taskbar, if you will. So there's the orange circle with the S, which is quite familiar to people, I'm sure. And over on the right too, this is the icon, the background application icon. So those can be customized. Instead of that S icon, you could have another little small icon and brand it. So brand it so that it matches your company branding. It's really clear that it's an internal message platform. Nobody has to learn what SnapComms is. They're going to see corporate branding really clear. So that's step one. That's something that can be customized. You may not be aware of that. And then if we look at our, let's see, I'm going to pause for a second. You can see the Supergirl here in the corner, right? Can you see this, my little pop-up? It says read now, read later. And we've got a little question mark, a blue question mark that's bobbing up and down. So I'm going to interact with this message. This was the example message I just published. I'll interact with this and then we'll talk a little bit about the next piece of the puzzle. So here is my template, and this is another great one that you guys have done, Shelley, because we can see the responsive design. If I make it smaller, you can see Supergirl gets tiny and brand logo gets tiny, and that question mark moves around a bit. And what I'll do, I'll just answer this question and close it off. But hopefully this is giving you some ideas. Oh, I have a question too. I thought I answered it. Here we go. Click. Now I've answered it. And this was a quiz. It shows me my answers at the end. So there we go. We'll close that off. All right. And then let's get back to this part. SnapComms icon, that can be customized to have your branding. And then here is my message history window. So I bet you're all familiar with what we're looking at here. When you click on the SnapComms client icon, this is the window where I can go and pull up my messages. These are messages that have been delivered to me as an employee, and they're still active, they're still valid, they're not expired yet. If I want to go and check them out, if I want to go look at them again, I can. So this message history window, you can see it no longer looks like the one you're probably familiar with. And I say that because most people haven't customized it. They have this window, the message history window. It says SnapComms and has our great orange and black on it. But it can be. So imagine you have that icon customized, you have this window customized, and it's got your company branding, and you're really, you have it aligned with your intranet, so clear that this is an official messaging channel. So that's the possibilities here. And this message history window can be any size. We have the time and date stamps in this example. Those could be gone. You could have more information in there. We've even had customers put in permanent links, like an internet link, a button on their message history window, some links to other critical areas that they want to make sure people can get to easily. So that hopefully is food for thought for you. And now, one other area, and we're almost at time here, but it's not too bad. We'll just go a couple minutes over, I think. We have our mobile application. So this is these, you can see here screenshots of the iTunes and the Google Play stores. We have an app where you can get that, have people install that app on their phones, and when you send out your alert to the PCs, your audience members get it on their phones as well, right? So some people use it for only portions of their employee base. Some have everyone using that app as well to make sure that they reach them with critical messages, even if they're not at their desk. So our generic app is what we're looking at here, but we can do custom apps, and we've done this for a few companies where we don't want people installing the SnapComms one. We want something completely unique for us, so we can do that. We can come up with a private, sort of a custom app, if you will, with that's completely skinned and branded for a company. So that's one more possibility if you're on the mobile side. And that of course, there's more work involved than branding. You have to get the apps. They're going to be separate apps. They're going to need to be approved, and you go through a process to get those apps to your employees. But yes, absolutely, that can be done. Okay, so now I'm hoping you saw something inspiring, some cool design ideas that you might take to your graphic designers or might go and play with. And how to make it happen? Well, we've changed a little bit what we do in terms of templates. And there's, okay, sorry about the slide, but I'm going to send you the slide deck. And this is the link you want. This is a hidden link. This is a page on our website that has a template order form. So it walks you through all the steps. It walks you through what we need and the whole process of doing custom templates. And that's rather new. So we'll get that to you, and you can go have a look. And I would say too, we mentioned on here it does custom templates cost. There's a nominal cost for them, and I would just say that the reason for that is some companies, they're going to want 2 templates, and other companies may want 20, 25, right? And so we just pass on just the, we're really not making money off of it. We pass on the cost of setting it all up and making sure it's going to render perfectly no matter what device your people are on. All right. And that sort of brings us to the end. And, why custom branding? Really, it's going to engage your audience more. We know that. And hopefully you understand now all the possibilities in terms of what you can customize within SnapComms. So any questions? Do we have any questions from anyone on the call? Ria, do you see any coming through?
No questions yet, Paula. Most probably you've answered all their questions.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know one question that does come up is, can we upload our template? Can we upload our own designs? Right? And the answer is no. And I think you can understand why. There's a lot we do to make sure that they scale, to make sure that they are going to render properly on every device type that you're sending them to. There's a lot behind it. So we have Shelly and her team that know exactly how to do that, turn it around quite fast. And so we handle that part. Actually, that's true too, whether you are on our cloud or locally hosted, and we have, it's really easy for us to upload them once they're done. It's really quick to upload them and get them to you. Well, thanks everyone. Thank you so much for your time. If there's no questions, then I think we'll wrap it up there. And I really hope to see some fantastic designs coming our way. And see you taking your SnapComms messages to the next level in terms of engagement and just making them absolutely pop. If you have any questions, we're all here for you. Happy to talk through any aspects, and have a great day. Our next webinar will be in 2 weeks, by the way, and we'll be delving into screensavers and wallpaper and what you can do with those fantastic channels to really reinforce information over time. So please join us in 2 weeks. Look out for that invite, which will be going out pretty soon. Have a great morning, everyone, or a great afternoon, depending on where you are. And we'll close down now. Take care.
Thank you, Paula.
Sure.
Thank you, Paula.
Thanks, Ria. Take care.
Bye.